ever walk into a trading day and just feel it. Not like, oh, it's going to be an up day. Like, that's for fortune cookies, right? But you get a sense of where the market's bias might be headed.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to unpack today.
Okay.
This idea of Power 3.
What's so cool about this Power 3 approach is it's not about predicting the whole day, right? It's about like really zooming in on the likely price range within that day
Okay.
and using that to kind of like get ahead of the game.
So we're using this transcript we have here from one of the Inner Circle Traders YouTube videos. It's called 2022 ICT Mentorship, episode 10.
Okay.
And he really breaks down this whole Power 3 thing. So walk us through it. What's like the core concept here?
So imagine like the market's a stage, okay? And the big players, the smart money, they're the actors, right? They know the script.
Okay.
Power 3 is like breaking down their moves into 3 acts. Act 1, accumulation.
Okay.
Act 2, manipulation.
Okay, good.
And Act 3, distribution.
All right. I like it. It's like a Wall Street heist movie or something.
Exactly.
Okay, so accumulation, what's going on there? What does that look like?
Think of it like a stealth mission, right?
Okay.
They're building up their position, often near that opening price. Maybe a bit above it if they think the price is going to drop.
Sneaky, sneaky.
It's subtle, under the radar.
So how does that like stealthy start transition into manipulation?
That's where the trap is set. You'll see a little upward movement, just enough to lure in those folks who think, oh, today's a bull day.
Oh, they're playing into those reactions, right?
Hook, line, and sinker. They're setting the stage for the main event, distribution. That's where the price starts really moving in the direction they planned all along.
And that's gotta hurt if you're caught on the wrong side of that. So the smart money's selling into that move. Yeah, taking their profits.
Cashing in on the very volatility they helped create.
Smart. So this makes sense in theory, but I'm a visual learner. He uses the NASDAQ hue on like February 17th, 2022 as an example. Right?
He does, yeah. And don't worry about the exact numbers. We'll link the chart in the show notes.
Perfect.
Just focus on the pattern. Like he points out this move up to like 14,275, classic manipulation.
So that's where I'd be like, woohoo, this is my day.
Right, but then boom, down to like 14,070 before it bounces back up. Distribution in action.
I'm starting to get it. Okay, so someone's listening to this Revit. They're like, all right, I get it. How do I use this? Like, I'm looking at the market today. What do I do with Power 3?
It's all about recognizing these little plays as they happen and then adapting your strategy. Let's say you see that early push up.
Yeah, that manipulation phase.
Instead of jumping in like everyone else, maybe you wait, you anticipate that pullback, that distribution phase, and you make your move then.
So it's not about predicting the entire day. It's about recognizing the likely direction of that intraday move.
Exactly. Think like the smart money.
Yeah,
You know,
we're gonna-
anticipate and use it to your advantage.
So we're not aiming for perfection, but rather for understanding that bias of the day.
Right. You just want a slight edge.
It's starting to feel less like gambling and more like, strategic market maneuvering.
That's the key takeaway here. The market's giving you clues. You just have to know how to read them. And then you need a plan to capitalize on them, of course. That's where your trading plan comes in.
Okay. Yeah, he's big on having a plan, isn't he? Like, it's not just, hey, here's Power 3, go make millions.
Right.
It's about having that, like, roadmap. Yeah.
He's all about it.
Yeah.
Having a written plan, it's not just some boring homework assignment.
Yeah.
It's your lifeline out there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's how you stop yourself from freaking out when things get crazy.
It's like having that map in the jungle that we were saying earlier.
Exactly. So what's in this plan? Entry points, got to know where you're getting in. Exit points, even more important, when to take your wins and cut your losses.
Right. And how much you're willing to risk.
Yeah. Huge. Got to define your risk tolerance. Can't be trading with scared money, right?
Right. And it's got to fit your style, right? Like, I'm not going to trade the same way as, like, a day trader in a basement,
100%. He actually uses this brilliant analogy. He talks about those sudden price moves, like the huge GE ones.
Okay. Yeah.
He compares them to a paint roller.
A paint roller. Okay, now I'm intrigued.
So, like, think about it. A paint roller, it covers a lot of ground, right?
Yeah.
But it's messy. It leaves gaps, right?
Right.
Same with these big market moves. They leave these gaps, and those are your opportunities.
So even if, like, I'm seeing that Power 3 play out, there's going to be these little pullbacks.
Exactly. Retracements, moments of consolidation. The market needs to breathe,
Yeah. So it's not going to be a straight shot up.
No way. And that's important for your head, right?
Right.
Because if you expect perfection, you're going to get eaten alive by those little dips.
Speaking of getting eaten alive, he had some strong words about margin, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, especially for us smaller players.
Like those discount brokers with their trade with 100x leverage? It's crazy.
Playing with fire, man. You might get lucky a few times, but one bad trade, you're toast.
It's like betting your rent money on black every single spin.
He actually gave this example, right? Imagine a 100-point move on the NASDAQ
Okay, in a day. That's a lot.
in a minute.
Oh.
It happens. Rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
And if you're leveraged to the hilt, gone.
So how do you find that sweet spot? Like, I don't want to be reckless, but I also don't want my money just sitting there.
It all goes back to your plan, right?
Yeah.
What's your risk tolerance?
Mm.
How wild is the market being? Volatility is high. Maybe ease up on the gas a bit.
Even if my broker lets me go crazy.
It's not about what you can trade with. It's what you can afford to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Yeah, protect your capital A and your mindset.
Exactly. He's all about the long game. That's why he's so big on back testing.
Ah, so we're not just throwing darts blindly. We're like practicing our aim.
That's it. He recommends Camtasia, for recording your screen.
Okay.
You pull up those historical charts, but you act like you're trading LED.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a dress rehearsal for your trading strategy.
Exactly. You see how it would have performed under different conditions? Did your entries make sense? Did you chicken out too early?
And you can see those Power 3 patterns play out, right?
All the time. The more you see it, even in the past, the better you'll be at recognizing it in real time.
So we're back testing, right? Like really diving deep into those charts, refining our approach.
Becoming students of the market,
Learning its language.
its rhythms.
And its patterns, right. He talked about this breaker pattern. What is that all about?
Oh, that's like one of his bread and butter setups.
Okay.
So picture this, right? 3 candles on your chart.
Okay.
First one's a high, then you get a low that breaks below that initial high.
Okay.
And then boom, a higher high that confirms the pattern.
Okay, so 3 candles, high, low, higher, high.
Exactly.
And what's the big deal with this pattern? Like, why does this matter?
It's the story it tells you, right? Let's say it's a bearish breaker.
Okay.
Like that lower low, the one breaking down, often acts as support.
Even though, like, the whole pattern's bearish.
Exactly.
Hmm.
He might look to short above the high of the pattern, but his stop loss, just below that breaker candle's low. Got to respect that support level.
So he's using it to manage his risk, too, not just where to enter.
It's all connected. And that goes back to his whole professional losers thing.
Yes, like that really made me think, because it sounds weird, right? But it's about being smart, not just being right all the time.
Takes the pressure off, You can't predict everything perfectly.
And he even said, like, it's like having an ATM in your hands once you get this stuff.
Bit of an exaggeration, maybe.
Yeah,
But the point is, it's not about getting rich quick. It's a system, a process you trust.
Tested it, back tested it.
And then you're playing the game with an edge, not just throwing darts.
Love it. So we've covered a lot. Power 3, this whole idea of market bias, having a plan, managing risk. If someone's listening, like, what should they take away from all this?
Number 1, remember Power 3. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. See if you can spot it on your charts.
Not predicting the whole day, right? Just that intraday move.
Exactly. And honestly, don't be afraid to just sit on your hands sometimes.
Best trade is the one you don't take if it feels off.
100%. Got to have that plan, manage that risk like we talked about.
Back test, practice, refine.
And don't beat yourself up over losses. Everyone has them.
Yeah.
It's what you learn from them.
Man, this has been eye-opening. I feel like I have a whole new perspective now.
We too, honestly.
Wow.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Well said. Becoming a student of the market, always learning.
That's the fun part.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that's all the time we have on this deep dive into market bias. Huge thanks to our expert for breaking it all down.
Pleasure to be here.
And to you, listening, thanks for joining us. Keep those charts open, practice what you've learned, and until next time, happy trading, everyone.